Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have a topic that I get asked a lot of questions about. And the topic today is going to be natural solutions for pain that works, that is backed by science. And as a medical doctor, I can't wait to dig into this with all of you. So without further ado, here we go, everybody. Hey everyone, welcome. Today we are exploring the topic of natural remedies for pain. And I'm Maggie MD, and I am a functional and holistic medicine MD, medical doctor. And I have, at this point, 27, 28 plus years in medical practice. I am an actively licensed practicing physician. And I am also I am a physician who also is trained and focuses on functional medicine, which is the root cause of underlying chronic health conditions, like what's really causing the problem. So I love to think about pain or other chronic disease states completely outside the box from regular traditional medical doctors, which brings me to this hot topic today. So without further ado, though, I just want to know, all of you that are watching right now, can you tell me in chat where you're watching from? And I would love if you're an alumni that's ever worked with me in any of our programs, whether it's our Transform program, our hormone balancing program, our food mapping program, any of our programs. I would love to know, how did you work with me? How did you know me? I would love to see maybe the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon on this. Would love to know, how did we first meet? How do you know me? And for those of you that are new to me, I get very excited around the science of what's really causing complex medical conditions. So today we're going to be talking about pain, and a lot of people are dealing with chronic pain. And to start that first off, I want to ask you, what condition or conditions do you have that's causing you pain or chronic pain? And when I think about pain as a functional medicine physician with training in family medicine, working with adults, geriatrics, and pediatrics, I think about most people without chronic disease think about pain in terms of acute injuries. That's one bucket, right? When we're talking about chronic pain, though, we start going into categories that can be related to things like autoimmune disease. How many people have autoimmune as one of the underlying causes of pain? And those are conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, gastroparesis, lupus, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, Sjogren's, right? Ankylosing spondylitis. There's a lot of different types of autoimmune diagnoses where your own immune system that's supposed to be defending your body against, let's say, infection or cancer cells, are instead attacking your own body and joints. And how many people have mixed connective tissue disorder or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, right? Those are autoimmune conditions that would be causing chronic pain. And that pain, the mechanism of it is an immune attack against targets in our body, like our connective tissue, our ligaments, our joints. And here's another category. How many people have neuropathy, chronic regional pain syndrome, right? And those neuropathy is just a fancy medical term for pain or numbness or tingling that's caused by damage against nerves. And most people with neuropathy is usually the cause, especially if it's multiple places around the body. The usual cause of it is, they say, idiopathic. Idiopathic is the idiot's name for calling pain or nerve pain that they don't know what the underlying cause is. Idiopathic means the idiot's way of explaining that they don't know what is causing your pain. And idiopathic to me means 90% of the time, there's usually an autoimmune condition going on, which is the underlying immune system is attacking itself. And it loves, one of the favorite targets of attack in any autoimmune disease is nerves, just so you know. So neuropathic pain or neuropathy frequently has its root cause in an autoimmune disease or an immune system that's being very dysregulated into attacking yourself. So I think about autoimmune disease as another cause of pain. There are other conditions that can also cause pain. Some people can have pain because they have severe bowel related issues. How many people have pain that's relating with intestinal issues with irritable bowel syndrome, or autoimmune diseases like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or gastritis? How many people have a lot of digestive issues that actually cause a lot of stomach aches and pain? A lot of people don't realize, and a lot of doctors don't realize, that chronically having bowel problems is a cause of underlying chronic pain. So, how many people have chronic pain from bowel related symptoms? Type it in chat. So, what I want to do here is to make sure that every single person, what you tell me based on what I already described here, how many of you have categories of pain that are related to some of these conditions? And then there are chronic medical conditions that, again, quote unquote, idiopathic, like fibromyalgia. How many people have fibromyalgia? I remember, since I've been practicing for almost 20, well, not almost, for 28 plus years at this point. Um, when I first started medical practice as a family medicine doctor, fibromyalgia was believed to be fake, caused by it's in a patient's head, because there wasn't blood tests to tell you that you have fibromyalgia. And so, therefore, if you don't have a blood test to diagnose it, the problem doesn't exist, or it's what we call supratentorial. That means that the tent is the base of the head. When we doctors call you in our notes by saying that you have a supratentorial problem, it's the doctor speak for saying you're crazy and it's all up in your head. I know, isn't that cool to understand what those terms mean now? I, as a functional root cause medicine, have had fibromyalgia, multiple autoimmune issues, as well as mixed connective tissue disorder. Fibromyalgia is not only real, just like chronic regional pain syndrome or an autoimmune disease. It, in fact, is related to an autoimmune issue, meaning that pretty much everybody diagnosed with fibromyalgia have a problem with their immune system attacking their own body. So it's an autoimmune syndrome. And it's interesting, I've been saying this for the last 15, 16 years, that fibromyalgia is autoimmune. And at first it was like shocking. Oh, she says it's autoimmune. And now, if you actually look up, is fibromyalgia autoimmune? I guess even the AIs are calling it that. So I guess I must be right. So, but interestingly, working on fibromyalgia, I have found that there's a huge correlation of patients who have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia to be linked with having other autoimmune related issues. And so I just want to give you a hidden connection that I see. And so for me, even though there's no blood test to diagnose fibromyalgia, it is indeed number one, a huge number one of the highest causes of chronic pain, and one that is in many physicians, even their training currently, they think is idiopathic. And for me, it's clearly has its root cause in an immune system issue. So now, those are some of the underlying causes. Now, what are some of the most common treatments for pain? And let's go over those and talk about why they don't work. So, really commonly, the one bucket that people, doctors prescribe and over the counter you can get for pain is NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. So there'd be things like ibuprofen, naproxen over the counter, prescriptions like Motrin, naproxen, some of these medications, Voltaren, different kind of medications are anti-inflammatories. Now, they work temporarily to help alleviate pain, but did you know, and I'm sure many of you experienced it, major, severe sometimes life-threatening side effects from it? Because when you use these NSAIDs, what they can cause is they can cause heartburn, stomach ulcers. One of the leading causes of stomach ER visits is stomach ulcers, bleeding in your stomach and upper intestinal tract. And it's caused by taking these anti-inflammatories, right? So, and they do a number on your kidneys because they really impact on causing inflammation in the arteries. And there's a ton of arteries in your kidneys, and some of them can really irritate the liver as well. So non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs like ibuprofen, can do a lot of harm, and some people, side effect wise, can't tolerate them. The other class of medications is narcotics. And narcotics, are problematic because they don't deal with what's underlying root cause of it. They can cause addiction and dependency. And chronic narcotic use is really bad for your liver, and it can cause withdrawal pain, causing basically dependence on those medications. So in the long run, narcotic medications actually make chronic pain syndromes worse. They actually change the way your nerves are wired. Now, by the way, you have any questions around pain, start popping it into the comment section. If I have time towards a little bit middle and later, I'm going to go ahead and actually talk about, see if I can answer them today. And then finally, number 3 is antidepressants. Antidepressant medications can be used to help pain from the brain standpoint. However, major side effects with that is weight gain, nausea, stomach upset. Some people, complete loss of the libido, sex drive. You want that? So these medications aren't really, there are a lot of problems with it, and they don't deal with some of the root causes. When I think about the root causes, some of these, we've talked about some of the buckets there are natural remedies that work. In fact, they can work better. They don't have the same side effects that we just talked about, and they get us some of the underlying root causes that's really happening. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. If anybody already has some questions around natural remedies, supplementation, around pain, go ahead and put it in chat. That'd be really great. I'm going to talk about first thing first is what is like kind of like the base of the pyramid with which I deal with pain. And I'm going to talk about is the 3 products in the daily reset bundle here. And to me, that's an easy no-brainer, 1, 2, 3. And the reason they're an easy brainer, 1, 2, 3 is just looking at this. I'm going to have somebody put that up if they can. Is that Boost Me 2 is in the morning contains methylated B vitamin complex. Methylated B vitamin complex fuels the mitochondria, the energy plant of the cells, to heal and repair. So cells need energy to repair, and you need to activate the mitochondria. That's what Boost Me 2 in the morning does, number 1. Number 2, digestion. And I've done a lot of videos around how digestion and pain are related. And I'm just going to pull this off for a second while we focus on talking about digestion and why Digested is our number 1 selling supplement in the store and the most rebought. So I'm just going to give you one simple concept here, which is that digestion is there to take big pieces of food. Imagine big pieces and turn them into tiny little pieces. And when food is really tiny because they're digested, they're really easy to absorb, right? And they're really low in irritants or allergens because they've been digested and broken down. So what happens is if you have good digestion, then you have really low allergens and low inflammation. If you have bad digestion, you have big pieces of food stuck over here that are highly allergenic, irritating, and poorly absorbed, causing tons of problems in the gut and throughout your body. So they're inflammation makers. So having proper digestion to digest food, to digest even other types of food items that are inflammation makers in your body, whether that's sugar, processed foods, or other things, requires an intact digestion system. So no matter what pain you're dealing with, I can already tell you right now, the reason you're in chronic pain is your digestion sucks. And so you got to start digested, 1 with small meals and 2 with big meals. That's non-negotiable. Fix the digestion because that's what's coming in. People don't realize how much food that you're eating and undigested food is actually triggering chronic pain. And if you've experienced this, type it in chat. How many of you have tried digested, taken it, and when you've had all these steps in digestion actually addressed, notice an improvement in pain, or notice a decrease in your reactions to food, in your gas, in your bloating, in your constipation, right? So digestion is really critical pillar of dealing with pain. So anybody that's had digested, I would say comment in chat what your experience has been, how much of a game changer it's been for you. There's a reason it is the number 1 selling product. And there's a reason why with pain, I want everyone here to make that connection. I have chronic pain because my digestion sucks and I can fix it. So take Digested, 1 with small meals, 2 with big meals. And then I also want to talk about how with the 3rd product in here is called Restore Me. And Restore Me is a magnesium complex. And I'm just going to talk about why, and I've talked about this many times, magnesium is almost like the hidden hero, but it's the most misunderstood hidden hero, meaning that there are, off the top of my head, 8 different forms of magnesium. And most of those forms, 7 out of those 8 forms, have nothing to do with pain, cannot help you with pain. And they're the most common forms of magnesium that's sold on the market because they're cheap to make. So specifically, when you're looking at Restore Me, it is a specific magnesium blend comprised of magnesium bisglycinate, specific form and a digestible form of this magnesium. And magnesium is insane for what it does. When we look at magnesium, a couple things is that it is a muscle relaxant. Okay, all of you thinking about taking muscle relaxants for pain, magnesium is the most powerful natural muscle relaxant there is. And that's why it's also used for people with restless leg cramps. How many people have restless leg cramps? And they're like, take magnesium, but you're taking the wrong form of magnesium. So magnesium is helpful, number one, for relaxing the muscles. Number two, magnesium helps nerves calm down. So for anybody who says I have neuropathy, it's your nerves firing like crazy. And any and every form of neuropathy or pain deals with nerves. And so there is a natural remedy that naturally calms the firing of these nerves, and that's magnesium in this form. So, a really great way if you are in chronic pain is get Restore Me, and I recommend getting it in a large bottle or getting as part of the daily reset to get you started on the product. But if someone is in a lot of chronic pain, meaning like, let's say 0 to 10, right? 10 is the highest your pain is, and 0 is no pain. If your average pain level, actually, everybody, go to chat, give me a number. Tell me with the number 0 to 10, okay, what your average level of pain is on a daily basis. Type it in chat right now. I want everyone watching to tell me what their pain level is. This is to give you a way to assess, right? We got to measure. What you don't measure, you can't change. So type your, so Agata said 7, Rosa says 6, 6 to 8, Stephanie Butler says 6. Catherine McGladdy from YouTube. Thanks for watching. All the YouTube watchers. Thank you. I see some people with 1 or 2s, and I know we've worked in the program together, Allie, like 1, 2, 3s. Like I know where your pain used to be. So perfect. And if you're not watching on YouTube, we're going to provide a link for you to watch in YouTube. I love being able to see the comments, especially those coming straight out of YouTube. Super helpful. We're going to provide a link on our Facebook pages so you can watch it on YouTube, or just search Maggie UMD and pain, and you'll see this live right now. Now, anybody whose pain is 5 or higher, that is an intolerable amount of pain on a daily basis. I can tell you that. And even 3 out of 10 pain on a regular basis, I find that unacceptable as well, because it impacts on multiple areas of your life. So if you're at a pain level 5 or above, I'm going to be talking about how to dose some of these supplements correctly as well. It's not enough to just know what the natural supplements are. It's important to, number 2, understand why and how they work. And number 3, how to take them, right? So for maximal absorption and bioavailability. And number 4 is what's the proper dosing of them, because there is a trick to it. Okay. Who wants the trick to it? I would love to know. Right. So Restore Me, if you have pain level 5 or above, I would like you to, the ideal dosing for it is 2 capsules twice a day. Okay. If you have pain 5 or below, 2 capsules right before bedtime would be great. Okay. That would be a really great start, because that's actually the amount of magnesium that you need that actually is an absorbable form. And here's another hot tip: take Restore Me with a meal. Okay. And with a meal you're taking Digested with, because specifically Digested ensures that that magnesium gets absorbed. So these are some hot takes on exactly what to take and how to take it and why to take it. So remember, magnesium, and it's in the product is called Restore Me. If your pain is 5 or below, start with 2 at bedtime. If your pain is 5 or above, I would like you to be taking the magnesium twice a day, 2 in the evening and 2 in the morning. Best to take it with a meal, okay? And best with Digested. Perfection. All right. I would love, the next thing is I want to talk about my secret weapon for pain, and it is a herbal combination that rocks, and it is called Move Me. Okay? Move Me. And here we're talking about things that work backed by science. What is it about Move Me that makes it so special? And why have I personally went through a bottle of this just in the last 3 months? Um, when I think about pain, and a lot of people think about NSAIDs. So we're thinking about the ibuprofens, the naproxens, even the prescription anti-inflammatories, right? And those have a lot of side effects, right? And even the COX-2 inhibitors that are supposed to be better for like Celebrex, those kinds of medications still have a lot of side effects in terms of on your blood vessels, on your kidneys, etc. So, what are natural ways to deal with that? This particular product, Move Me, number one, has enzymes. Okay, it has enzymes. So we're talking about things like proteases, what we call steroidopeptidases, as well as trypsin and chymotrypsin. So these are what we call enzymes. Enzymes are something you can't get in a prescription product. And what is so cool about these enzymes is they're like, imagine you're like at a construction site and there's all this construction and havoc happening, and all this stuff drops to the bottom. All the dirt, all the nails, everything, all the inflammation byproducts that happen. That's what it's like in a painful muscle. Okay. And what happens is when you have these enzymes, there's a cleanup crew. They actually go down here to below to all these areas and they break it down. And they break it down in a really succinct way. So in this product, for example, there's trypsin and chymotrypsin. Those are actually digestive enzymes. So even at the point of digestion, it's already starting to do that. But what's really cool is you got proteases and serraptopeptidases. Serraptopeptidase has been studied to actually, and it's backed by science specifically, because it has a role and has been documented to actually break down these inflammatory byproducts of inflammation. So any sort of autoimmune attack against your muscle, trauma against it, injury around it, even food-related allergen ingestion caused pain has a lot of inflammatory byproducts that these enzymes kick ass in. Okay, so Move Me has this blend of enzymes that are really mission critical. Number two, when we're looking at Move Me, think about what are these anti-inflammatory pathways that the NSAIDs and the COX-2 has, like ibuprofen and Celebrex. Well, turmeric and boswellia, and I want you to write it down, okay? Turmeric and boswellia are really well-studied natural COX-2 inhibitors, meaning that they activate an anti-inflammatory pathway that doesn't cause stomach ulcers. And what's really cool about it is when I think about turmeric and I think about boswellia, they work differently. So different mechanisms. This is why the combo formula is like really amazing. I love concocting and putting these things together. So I think boswellia is really known for quick relief. So it's more like right now I just sprained my ankle. Boswellia in there, it really gives you some fast anti-inflammatory actions. Combined with turmeric, on the other hand, works on anti-inflammatory pathways that take longer it's almost the production of the inflammation, right? So it takes longer to work, but it's also longer acting. So it's really cool to think about these anti-inflammatories and say, I'm going to combine a long-acting anti-inflammatory with a short-acting, that's fast-acting anti-inflammatory, like turmeric, like boswellia, and put it into Move Me. So when you think about that, you're like, whoa, this can work immediately and longer term. That's cool. That you can formulate a natural product like this and you take advantage of the time frame that these products work to actually help people dose it right and to also help people have long-acting relief, right? And then I'm just going to add a couple things about Move Me, which is it has ginger in there. Ginger is known not just for nausea, but it's really helpful in the anti-inflammatory pathways. We got quercetin, we got rutin in there. Quercetin is really great in the antihistamine pathway. A lot of people have food-related pain reactions, so that's where quercetin, rutin really comes in with that. And then we got rosemary and resveratrol in there as well, and both of them are really potent to combat the antioxidant stress against muscles with pain. So it really is a combination formula, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows Move Me, right? Now, I'm going to give you the secret on how to take Move Me accurately. So make sure you write this down, okay? And no, turmeric is not hard on the liver. Turmeric is one of the most liver-loving herbs. Anyway, back to how I would dose Move Me. If I'm sitting here and somebody says, I have pain level, and those of you who said you have pain level 5 or above, that would be what I call a high pain level. I would say, and even 5 and below, consider this. It's what I call a loading dose. Okay, we got a loading dose of Move Me. The perfect way to load Move Me would be, meaning high dose it right in the very front, would be 4 and 4. 4 and 4. 4 in the morning, 4 at night. you high dose it day 1, day 2, day 3, however many days before you start to notice a difference. Because all the serotonin, all the trypsin, all the anti-inflammatories there have to deal with a lot of it threshold. There's a lot of in this bucket of inflammation it needs to work on. So we're front loading it to really work hard to like front load this anti-inflammatory cleanup crew effect. So you want to do 4 in the morning, 4 at night until every single day until you notice a difference. So that might be 1 day, that might be 3 days, that might be a week, depending on the level of how much inflammation there is in the muscle. And that's why you front load it. And as soon as you notice a difference, you can go down. So you can go from 8 a day to like 7 a day, 6 a day, 4 a day, down to 3 a day, 2 a day. And a lot of people find once the pain level starts to get below 5, all the way to like, let's say level 3, are able to take like maybe 2 a day to help keep it at 3 and to also continue lowering it. So you don't have to stay on those high doses all the time. I don't believe in these high dosing of certain supplements all the time, forever and ever and ever. It's really important to understand what I call front loading dosing of supplements, certain supplements, to make sure you actually get the results in the way that you do. Because if your bucket is this high in inflammation and you're taking 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day, and you say it doesn't work, that's not how the product works. Like there's too much in the bucket that you got to really front load and lower first before you actually start to really notice a difference. Does this make sense? So Move Me, if you need the link, if you're on YouTube, it's right below you. There's a button there to visit our YouTube shop. If you're watching anywhere else, you can go ahead and check out the links in the chat. And keep coming with the questions because we're going to talk more. I'm going to answer more questions, but I really want to get through and take some time to teach on supplements. Who really are enjoying me going over the science behind how these things work, the mechanisms and the dosing of these supplements? Type in chat. Show me some love. Show me what has really been helpful. And Jill mentioned here, she said, it's worth it. She says the cost is worth it because there are no side effects. Yeah, absolutely. Supplements cost money. So do medications. So do prescription medications. But what's an unacceptable cost to me is a hospitalization or an ER visit or a irreversible side effect, right? So understanding how to evaluate natural remedies that work without side effects is something I think it's really important for people to understand, right? Really, when you're dealing with natural substances, natural pathways, and also a huge absorbability, the number of side effects from taking natural remedies go way down compared to standard traditional medication or living with a level of pain that high. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have some sort of allergy to to any natural supplement, but the chance of actually allergy to any of these ingredients are much, much lower, for example, than being allergic to a narcotic medication or having a bad side effect from an antidepressant medication, for example. So there is a comparison here that's really based on science. The side effects on these medications are very well researched, clear. And many of you have experienced it as well. So that's a wonderful discussion. One of the benefits of natural solutions is also decreased side effects and allergic side effects. Now, next thing that I want to talk about is a miracle, one of my miracle natural remedies for dealing with pain, and that's SPM Max, SPMs. So to give you a little understanding of what SPM Max and what SPMs are, is that you're supposed to take fish oil, omega-3s, EPA, DHA, and it's anti-inflammatory. Well, here's the thing. When you actually look at these omega-3, omega-6 pathway, on the omega-3 pathway, these omega-3s from fish oils will go down through different steps and keep breaking down. One of the final products that it breaks down to is called SPM. And SPM are what I call the Pac-Mans in the game against pain. And SPMs, through a different mechanism, go into the joints and literally gobble up inflammation and pain-causing molecules and toxins, right? Break down products of pain. And SPMs, here's the problem. Can I just take fish oil? Yes, you can. And our fish oil, Omega 1000, is an extremely high dose omega-3s. That being said, taking fish oil is not the same as taking specifically SPM component for pain. Fish oil has many benefits, but it takes a lot of fish oil to get to the dosing of one tablet, one capsule of SPM max. You would have to probably take the equivalent of 20 to 31,000 milligram fish oils to equal the amount of SPMs that's in one SPM max. Now, how do you dose SPM max? 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Quality on SPMs matter. Digestion and absorbability matters, and dosing matters. So I'm giving you very specific dosing based on our high dose with the SPM max. And here's the important hot tip on how to have SPMs really work for you. Take them with a meal with digestive, because many of you can't digest fat properly. So how many people have had gallbladder problems or know you can't digest fat? And then you say, oh, SPMs are really good. And then you spend a lot of money on really good SPMs, but you're not absorbing it. So this is why digested is the cornerstone. And so when you take SPM max, make sure you take it with a meal with digested to make sure 100% of it is absorbed and gets utilized. That's the key to that magic working. If that's news, if you've learned something new, put a boom in chat for me, and then tell me what's one thing new that you learned about natural remedies for pain that you haven't heard anywhere before. Jill says, I live on 2 SPM max daily for my arthritis and spinal deterioration. Yeah. And it works, right? And how many people with those same diagnoses of spinal deterioration or arthritis are on narcotic medications or have to take a non-steroidal NSAID prescription medication every day with a known side effect of, let's say, kidney failure, right? So again, think about SPM max. There are no long-term side effects to taking SPM max. So that's why magical molecule here. And I'm also showing you exactly how to take it at the right dose for maximum absorbability. So with a meal, with digested. Can you take SPM for sciatica? D says, heck yes. So really importantly, any sciatica is nerve pain. Any neuropathy is nerve pain. I have some news for everybody. Nerves are like 60% of the molecule on nerves or higher is fat, healthy fat. So that is also what makes SPM max really cool for neuropathic pain, sciatica, pain that involves nerves, because it's a fat soluble molecule. So it loves to get straight into a nerve cell. It's a fat molecule. So once it gets digested and absorbed from your gut and gets in your bloodstream, boom, it loves to go into the nerves and does its Pac-Man action. Did that make sense? I hope that was a really good analogy and you understand how the mechanism SPM really works. And Jill had said she was on narcotics for 15 years, lots of side effects. Now with SPM max, I have no side effects, just less pain and less inflammation. I love that, right? So results are more important than what I say. I think it's really important for people that I've worked with or have taken these products to actually tell you what their experience is with it. So if you don't believe me, believe them. I would love other people who've had experiences with the products to share your experience so people can see what the real people, real diagnosis, and real outcomes have been using natural remedies that work that's backed by science. And I'm a medical doctor. Now, next thing that we're going to talk about is I think it's really important. We talked about the digested. I want to talk about collagen, okay? When we're talking about diet and nutrition for pain, it's really important. Like I just mentioned, a lot of pain has to do with nerves. So what that means is you want to have healthy fats. Healthy fats is really important because they stabilize your blood sugar, which is really important for pain control. But these healthy fats, especially from omega-3s, fish oil, has a lot of anti-inflammatory effects. So eating a healthy, like a lot of fats that's from fatty fish is really anti-inflammatory. And if you can't do that, Pro Omega 1000 is our fish oil that is the right dose for the right reasons. And so with Pro Omega 1000, that is a fish oil that has really extremely high EPA. We want high EPA when we want anti-inflammatory for pain. And not all fish oil has the same quality. I can already tell you right now, we're talking about Pro Omega 1000, which is our fish oil. A lot of people think they can't tolerate fish oil because it makes them burp or it makes their stomach hurt. Well, if your stomach hurts taking fish oil, it's because your digestion sucks. So really importantly, take the Pro Omega 1000 with digested. And then some people burp when they take a fish oil over the counter. If you're burping the fish oil, it means the fish oil is rancid. So, really importantly to understand is fish oil that are over the counter. Unfortunately, yes, they're lower costs. I wish they worked, but they don't. And oftentimes have lower quality, rancid also. And then also, when you're looking at third party testing for the toxins that are in fish oil, unfortunately, can be pretty high. So, really importantly, I look at all of that. Our Pro Omega 1000 product has our Omega 1000 product has, I think, is it on screen? Oh, thank you. It's easy to remember because people always think about what's the right dosing overall for fish oil. If you have pain, you want about 4,000 milligrams a day. So it's easy to remember on this one because each capsule is 1,000. So if you have pain, I would say the level of omega 3s that you really want in this quality, and that's this high on EPA, would be 2 in the morning, 2 at night. That's with a meal. Now, if you eat a lot of fish, you have a healthy amount of healthy fat in your diet, you may not need this, right? So I wanted to add in some dietary discussion around here as well. Now, I'm going to move to protein. Protein is really important in terms of the fact that collagen is the number one cleanest protein that you can do when someone has a pain condition. And why? Because collagen is the component in muscles and tendons that actually is really needed to help repair. And collagen, as a single protein in ProCollagen WB, has also the different types. There's several different forms and types of collagen. And they work with different things: hair, skin, and nails, muscle and joints, gut healing. So we want a type of collagen that contains all different kinds of collagen. And that's our product, Pro Collagen WB. If someone can get that on screen, you can actually visually see it. That'll be great. Now, collagen, why I like collagen as a protein source and specifically is this particular product has all the different forms of collagen. If you're going to use collagen, you might as well make sure it has all different types, right? So it addresses all the needs of the whole body, number one. Number two is it is a clean single ingredient product. And I work with a lot of people that have a lot of reactions and problems with different protein sources. So many protein powders out there are, let's say, made with whey. And I would say about 60-70% of people we work with in the food mapping program, we've identified as actually having a inflammatory reaction against dairy. So there are other sorts of proteins, but by far and large, collagen is one of the least allergenic, cleanest form of protein that you can get. So if you can't tolerate a lot of protein, collagen would be my first bet. And I have a lot of people we work with multiple food sensitivities, irritable bowel. I would be putting them on Pro Collagen WB. And so even if you don't work with me on one of our programs, that is my recommendation for you first. Now, collagen with the Pro Collagen WB is easy. Like every day for anybody dealing with chronic pain, you should be doing 1 scoop a day. And it's so easy to do because it's flavorless, and you can put it in water. You can put it in your drink. You can put it in your coffee drink. Yes, guilty here. Not really. I'm not against coffee, just so you guys know. And it can be, I also have, like, let's say a chai tea that I do in the morning. I make a chai tea. I put it in there as well. So the collagen is a great way. 1 scoop a day is magical for pain. And it's interesting, like in the traditional Asian diet, for example, we eat a lot of tendon, which contains a lot of collagen. And traditionally, like in Chinese herbal medicine, when someone has a lot of pain, they're told to eat a lot of tendon. And so really, this is a translation over here to functional medicine, where if I had to choose a protein source that's the most anti-inflammatory and for pain, most gut soothing, easily digested and absorbed, it would be collagen, and it would be Pro Collagen WB with all the different types of collagen in an easily absorbable formula, 1 scoop a day. That's all you need. And so I hope that was like really, Kimberly is like, I need to get back on the collagen. And it's so easy to forget. And here's the thing. I think Kimberly was writing in chat that her pain level is 1 now. And Kim, if you could share in the chat, what was your pain level 6 months ago? To be at a level 1, it's interesting, right? If your pain level is like a 6 and it goes to a 3 or to a 1, it's really quick to forget what got you there. And so importantly, like collagen for me is a daily thing. I have mixed connective, I have EDS. And so It is just one of my maintenance things is to do one drink every single day that has collagen in it, and it's another way for me to love myself, right? And let's see, do we have some time here? I'm just going to throw one more thing in and it's going to drive the team insane. It's going to be actually hydro balance. I want to talk about hydration as anti-inflammatory and for pain. You got to drink adequate amount of water to actually flush this out, to get these molecules absorbed and for your body to be flushing the toxins out. And hydration, I'm just going to give you a quick formula for calculating water. Take your weight in pounds. And for my Canadians and Australian watchers, yes, you have to do it in pounds. Take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2. And that's the amount of ounces that you should be drinking in water. And so that's for most of us, and there's more complications in formula, but that's the easiest down and dirty way to know. Most of us should be drinking at least 70 to 100 ounces of water a day. Now, it's not enough just to drink water. And I know a lot of people who say I have problems even tolerating water because their digestion has such problems, or they're not used to drinking this much water. Drink the water, but I want you to biohack it even better for pain. And that's by using the hydro balance, okay, in 1 scoop in water, even just once a day. And here's why. On the hydro balance, I'm going to tell you, most of these hydration electrolyte water is 90% salt. Salt is cheap. Salt is a filler. Salt is so easy if you wanted to put extra salt into a drink. And that's not even the most important piece of hydration and anti-inflammatory for pain. When you're looking at hydro balance, guess what's in it? It has a ton of the magnesium bisglycinate that I was talking about. And the methylated B vitamins that I was talking about in Boost Me, have it right in your water, right? That's right in there to help the energy that it takes to get the water in your cells, right? So how about instead of just hydrating or getting electrolytes, how about electrifying this whole process and biohacking this to get the water into your body with the power and the energy to turn on your mitochondria? So hydrobalance has all those B vitamins in there. It also helps with the cardiovascular system, the blood vessel system that actually delivers the water throughout your body. So it's got the taurine, it's got the malic acid in there in the therapeutic amounts that's needed to get the water into muscles and blood vessels. And then finally, from an electrolyte standpoint, it ain't just the salt. I mean, there's some salt in there, but what's even more important and critical are things like the magnesium, the zinc, the potassium in there. How many people don't even realize that restless leg syndrome has less to do sometimes with the calcium? Everyone says calcium, and it does have calcium in it, but also it has more to do with the magnesium as well as potassium. So just 1 scoop of the hydro balance a day. I would say keeps the doctor away. So hydration is a really key component in thinking about pain. So I hope that was really helpful. And that's a training that I wanted to spend and give a lot of time in. And here's the thing: if you want to, if you've enjoyed the supplementation training around pain, give me some love and put boom in chat. If you want to work with me and our team to actually discover what are the underlying root causes for your pain, whether it's autoimmune disease, hormonal imbalances, food reactions, digestion issues. We do a 360 health assessment, and we have a link that in chat, or just write the word 360 in chat for me. Will you do that? Write 360 in chat, where you'll do a medical intake with us. That's pretty extended, so we can learn more about what's going on with you to help you discover what are some of the underlying causes of pain and what are some solutions working with us would be for dealing with chronic pain. Now, that being said, I want to go ahead and will there be a replay? Yes, absolutely. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. Let's go through some questions. We have time for some Q&A. I want to thank all of you. And those of you who still have questions, start popping it in chat more, because I'll be here to keep answering some of these questions. Patricia says, I have thyroid disease, fibromyalgia, IBS, arthritis, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, insomnia. What do you suggest? And Patricia, 100%, that was me. You are my twinsy when I was 36. Absolutely. So Patricia, for you, I would absolutely recommend, and anybody else, is start with the daily reset bundle so that you have the Boost Me in the morning, the digested, 1 with small meals, 2 with big meals, and then the Restore Me for you. I would start that 2 at night, Patricia, just to get started. But what I would pick up is I would do the Move Me, and I would do the SPM Max also. So I already went over some of the instructions on how to front load dose Move Me I think for everything going on with you, I would front load the dose of Move Me with starting with 8 a day, notice the difference, and then start to move down. And then SPM max 2 a day, one in the morning, one at night. I think that would be a really great combination. But there's a lot of autoimmune component in here, Patricia. So thinking through with your thyroid, fibromyalgia, and you didn't even tell me your age group, but I know your hormones are playing a role here. So I do think absolutely, if you're thinking about really looking at what the root causes of these problems, I would do the 360 assessment with us so we could figure out. Because believe it or not, menopause and hormone changes could be a huge trigger of pain. Because how many people noticed that when they went into that perimenopause time, that their pain syndrome started to really get up there, right? I know I did. So hormones have a lot to do with it. So, that's something if you wanted to work with me and us on your hormones, or, food sensitivities, there are many underlying root causes of pain that is clearly in Patricia's case. But I'm happy to give you my suggestion on what to get started with. Thank you, Patricia. And then Ginny is coming in. What can you take naturally for PMR? Polymyalgia rheumatica, an autoimmune disease against muscles, instead of steroids. That's the other thing. I didn't even mention that most doctors and most people with autoimmune disease for these chronic pain are being prescribed these steroids, which is like the prednisone. And steroids is some of the nastiest side effect things that you can take. And it's definitely something you don't want to take long term, but feels like for a lot of patients like Ginny, it's the only choice and the only option their doctors knows. And I think that's criminal. There are many options besides steroids. And a good approach to someone on steroids like Ginny would be to start on these natural remedies to get them to start to notice the difference. And once you notice that you're getting less and less pain, then have a conversation with your PMR doctor about lowering the doses of steroids. It actually helps people wean off steroids. So in our programs, I work with people all the time to help them naturally wean off the steroids while their pain is going less and less. But the cornerstone of doing that is to start, for Ginny, is start with the reset bundle, right? And it's the same recommendation that I had for Patricia would be start with the daily reset bundle. And then I would add Move Me and SPM Max to this. What I find for somebody like Ginny, as well as for Patricia, is their pain level, if it's really high, meaning like 5 or above on a chronic basis, one of the things they may want us to do is order the Restore Me, which is the magnesium, in the biggest bottle possible. Because I know in the reset bundle, it's a starter amount of the daily reset is what, let's say someone baseline who has some pain should take would be 2 a day is in that daily reset bundle. But if someone's like, I'm specifically focused on getting a ton of magnesium and my pain level is 5 and above, get the Restore Me, but buy the largest size bottle, get it on subscription. And because you're going to need at least 4 of those a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. 2 in the morning, 2 at night. So that's some food for thought for starting to play with putting together a regimen for yourself. And then Allie mentioned natural remedies for headaches. My favorite headache remedy, write this down, everybody. This is a super, super secret. Okay. Super secret. So our omega 1000 is the fish oil. Now, right fish oil at the right dose. For people with migraines or really severe headache, we're going to talk about a way to actually dose the omega 1000 for migraines. So that would be the 1000 milligram per capsule. I would do 4 of those right when you feel the headache starting, and then about an hour later, do 4 more. That's just talking about the omega 1000, right? But the other 2 things are not negotiable as well, which is I would do the Move Me with the front dosing, which is 4 and 4. 4 the Move Me now, 4 later in the day, right? And then SPM, take 2 right away. So that's like a 1, 2, 3 prong approach to dealing with the migraine right when it starts. So Pro Omega 1000, 4 and 4. Take 4 right now, 4 an hour later. On the Move Me, 4 right away, 4 later in the evening. On the SPM Max, 2, boom, right when the headache is starting. And that's my 1, 2, 3 punch approach. Now, that's not saying like if you didn't want to you may find you're a person where you're like, I would throw some of the Restore Me in there as well. You could if you wanted to, but I want to focus on specifically for headache. Those 3 are man, bang on. I just want to let you know. All right. So someone says, "What if magnesium makes you sick?" Well, that's a really broad statement because the thing about it is that, like I said, 8 out of the 9 forms of magnesium are not what you should take for pain. And many forms of those magnesium don't absorb and they can make you have diarrhea, stomach pain, and other things. So, really importantly, the right form of magnesium and Restore Me is really important. And then starting low, maybe 1 or 2 capsules of it and see how you do first before you go up more is important. And Catherine, this is why I mentioned Move Me, SPM Max. Neither one of those products, you're going to be really struggling with the magnesium issue. So having a panel of tools on you, like a total tool belt on you of different things, allows you to mix and match. And also, if there's any tolerability problems with any specific product, you can make your own. Like for her, let's say she says magnesium makes her sick. Well, why doesn't she pick up the digested, right? Why doesn't she pick up Move Me and the SPM Max? Boom, congratulations. Thank me later, Catherine. All right, next question. Oh, that's a good question. This is from an alumni. Should SPM only be used PRN, meaning as needed? I can tell she's a nurse. She used PRN. That's doctor speak for as needed. I use 3,000 of omega-3 fish oil every day. So can you use SPM? Not every day, but only as needed. And the answer is heck yes. That's a great way to use SPM. So for my migraineurs, for someone like my husband just had a shoulder injury, and I put him on SPM Max 2 a day. And by day 2, he's already feeling a lot better. So I love that, right? So it can be, I absolutely in my cabinet, because I have chronic pain, right? Issues with my Ehlers-Danlos, for example. So in my cabinet is the Move Me, is the SPM, is the Restore Me. Those are sitting there. Depending on the issue of whether those you have chronic pain or whether there's something new that just happened, they're there. And you can mix and match depending on what the problems are. But some people have chronic pain. Like I know Jill in chat has chronic fibromyalgia. So she's maybe on a maintenance dose of some of these products. So it really depends on what your pain level is, what's the underlying cause of pain, whether you take it on a daily basis or on an as needed basis. Any and every one of these products can be taken daily or on an as needed basis. So that really opens up the field for you to play. And for you to be like working with a functional medicine provider like myself, because we also understand how some of these supplements, they work together, what kind of combinations work best. And your body's a really good data reporter. It tells you what's working and what's not. So really start to write down like what's working for you, what's the dosing, and become your own best data collector, because success leaves clues, and there's nothing like remembering those clues, right? Next we have, I like it. Cindy has a question. Cindy Matter says, what would you suggest if someone's allergic to all fish? How do they get omegas in supplement form? It's very, very challenging, Cindy. And I would say that omega-3s from fish is the most concentrated form. That being said, you can get omega-3s from krill, which is a shrimp. You can also get omegas from algae, which is a sea plant-based source. That being said, algae fish oil is extremely expensive to get to the dosing we need. So you absolutely can get it. And then from a dietary standpoint, pumpkin seeds, flaxseed also have some omega-3s in it. So there are dietary things that you can do besides that. That being said, if you're allergic to all fish oil, I would really be focusing on a pain protocol that has Move Me and the Restore Me, which is the magnesium. That combination for someone who's allergic to fish works wonders. So I would think that would be a really great combination for Cindy. Now, Pam has a question. Is this helpful for rheumatoid arthritis? Pam, this was for rheumatoid arthritis. Thank me later. I've worked with thousands of rheumatoid arthritis patients, and this is exactly the regimen that I share with them in our programs. That works extremely well. There you go. But that being said, I want to point out with rheumatoid arthritis and any autoimmune disease, don't ignore the fact that underlying root cause wise, hormone change and food allergies and digestion are 2 sides that really are causing these problems. So I can't tell you that supplements are going to solve those issues that are other underlying causes, right? So that's why people work with us to look at, I got rheumatoid arthritis, but why is it suddenly at 45 to 50, my pain has gotten so much worse? Well, because hormones matter. And that's why I did a training last week around supplementation for hormones. But we also work with individuals with rheumatoid arthritis or other autoimmune diseases or anybody that recognizes the clue that hormones is causing the worsening of pain in your body. Well, we better fix and balance those hormones. And that's an area I'm an expert in. And we work with people on that. If you're interested in working with us to diagnose and deal with what's going on with the hormone part of this, um, then there's a 360 assessment for you to take that assessment to look deeper into the hormone component. Okay. Now, Amy says, are all these ingredients safe for those with kidney disease and heart issues? I would say yes. However, this is really important, is that there is nothing worse for kidney disease than the prescription meds that the doctors are prescribing. And so on a safety level, the supplementation we're talking about is extremely safe for those with kidney disease and heart issues. That being said, kidney disease is a large pendulum, meaning that there's hundreds of different kinds of kidney disease. And there's also people with no kidney function. If someone has low to no kidney function, you have to really evaluate not just supplements, but medication and even food. So it's really important that if you have that severe level of kidney failure, it's very important to consult and work with a physician like myself and your kidney doctor to make sure that even the food and the water you're drinking is safe for that level of kidney disease. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Okay. And then next, I like this question. Susan says, why would someone not absorb protein? Because their digestion sucks. Okay. Or they have food sensitivities and allergies to different forms of protein. So then they wouldn't absorb it. So we work and deal with that all the time in our food mapping program. So in our food mapping program is where we help figure out exactly what steps of digestion is broken for you based on your data. And we also do testing to figure out exactly which foods are actually triggering these malabsorption and inflammation. So there's many reasons, but the top two reasons is number one, digestion sucks, which is why Digested is so popular. Number two would be food sensitivity and allergy, which is why food mapping, the program, is so popular, but also Pro Collagen WB as a single ingredient, low allergenic protein is really popular. So that's the reason. Great question. Thank you, Susan. And then final questions. Jill says, can you take more than 2 SPM when pain is high? So this is a really cool question because as someone who, let's say, sells supplements, they're going to tell you, yeah, keep taking more and more. Well, I'm going to tell you, you don't need to. The most of our SPM max that you need is 2 a day. Taking more isn't going to help more. So you could take more, but you would be not a smart use of your financial resources. That wouldn't be a good one to take more of because that's why it's called SPM max, because all you need is 2 maximum, and that's all. You don't need to take any additional. There you go. So I hope that was super helpful for you guys. And I was going to ask you something, and I'm going to poll the audience on this, which is I love being able to interact with you guys on YouTube as well as Facebook to really troubleshoot through some of these questions and cases. However, it's been suggested by many in my audience for me to do TikTok live, and that I go live on TikTok and I go through a training like this, and I'm able to interact and deal with questions, comments, and feedback from you in TikTok. How many people do engage in TikTok or watch TikTok lives? I'm curious if you can type that in chat because I'm thinking about if there's enough interest I would be willing to try it out, to do a TikTok live to see if it's a better way for me and you to interact together. And it may give me more easily feedback back and forth for me to actually troubleshoot through some of these cases in live in real time. A lot of people don't even realize this is live. Somebody was mentioning that as I was reading, someone we were talking to the other day said that as I was reading some of their comments, Catherine says me on TikTok. Okay. That as I was going through their questions and comments, did they realize that I was live? They thought this was pre-recorded. That'd be the easy way to do this. No, I'm live. And I'm thinking about going live on TikTok. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a link or my name in TikTok so you can follow me over there. so that if I do decide to go live next week on TikTok, you'll be notified when I do. So why don't you hop over there and follow me on TikTok? And I will let you guys know on TikTok if I'm going to do a TikTok live. I've never done it before. I didn't even have TikTok installed on my phone, just so you know, even though we have a company TikTok account. So this is going to be new for me and it's going to be new for you. So I'm excited to consider trying it, but I want to know if that's something that interests you. And those of you who do watch TikTok lives, do you find it and educational, entertaining, impactful? I would love some feedback in chat. That would be really great. Okay. I think that's a wrap, everybody. So without further ado, some of the products that I discussed, I hope you enjoyed this training. And if you did, click a like, thumbs up, subscribe. If there's somebody could benefit from watching this, share it with them right now. Click the share button, send it to them, or put their name in the chat so they could be tagged in it if you're on Facebook. That'd be really helpful for me. Did you know that less than 5% of the you that are watching this are actually subscribed to my YouTube channel, which really helps me out. I provide these trainings for free. And I really love teaching as many people as possible to learn about natural supplementation and natural remedies and scientific research and mechanisms. So help me and help other people share this message by sharing this right now. But also hop over to my YouTube channel and give a subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up on this video. Go pow, give me a thumbs up. I would love that. Perfect. That is a wrap, everybody. So without further ado, I think we're going to head out. There we go. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, everybody. Thank you.